Are you struggling with cravings between meals? The key to beating these cravings when you're working to reverse insulin resistance is increasing your protein intake. High protein snacks are great for keeping you full, which in itself helps to improve insulin resistance. But that's not the only reason they help. Protein has a minimal impact on blood sugar, which means it won't cause the sharp spikes and crashes that can lead to cravings and energy dips. Plus, protein also helps the body use insulin more efficiently. This is key for anyone who has insulin resistance, as steady blood sugar is one of the best ways to manage and improve symptoms and improve overall health. So today I'm sharing with you the 12 best protein-rich snacks that can help to curb hunger, support stable blood sugar, and ultimately help you to reverse insulin resistance. Number 12 is jerky or biltong. And we're starting off with a snack that you can find almost anywhere, even at petrol stations. So if you're in a pinch, this can be easily accessible. Both jerky and biltong are dried meat, which makes them great for travel. And of course, they're packed with protein. 100 grams of jerky will get you over 30 grams of protein, give or take, depending on the brand. Biltong traditionally has more fat, which isn't a bad thing. This can also help with satiety. But what you need to be mindful of when you're choosing what jerky or biltong to buy is how much added sugar there is. Now, I'm not concerned if there's 1 gram, 2 grams, even 5 grams, but much more than that, and you're going to get close to blood sugar spike territory, which is what we're trying to avoid. But you can usually find lower sugar options no matter where you are. And I'll link to some of my favorite brands in the description box down below if you want to shop ahead and be prepared. Number 11, Greek yogurt. This is a fantastic way to boost your protein intake between meals. Again, make sure it's unsweetened though, because you want to avoid that added sugar. Greek yogurt can have up to twice as much protein as regular yogurt, which is why I recommend it specifically. You can add a few berries or some unsweetened nut butter if you want to make it a little bit more interesting. But either way, it's a great high protein snack that is going to help with blood sugar control and reversing insulin resistance. Number 10, hard-boiled eggs. This is again a classic, but I had to throw it in here. Hard-boiled eggs are easy to prepare in bulk and have on hand for when cravings hit between meals. And they are also the perfect food when it comes to nutritional value. They contain the perfect ratio of protein to fat, and they are also rich in micronutrients. Number 9, cold water oily fish. So here I'm talking about salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. This is another snack I'm a huge fan of because it's so nutrient dense, on top of already having a lot of protein. Specifically, these fish are rich in bioavailable omega-3 fatty acids. These types of omega-3 are great for lowering inflammation and helping to control blood sugar and insulin. Now, if the thought of tinned fish is a little off-putting for you, I know some types of fish are fishier than others, I encourage you to give mackerel a try. In my opinion, it's a bit more mild and it's not as fishy. Number 8, cheese. Now, sometimes cheese gets a bit of a bad rep, but it's honestly a great food. It has a good balance of fat and protein, and on top of that, a great balance of vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and calcium. And these 3 nutrients work together. D3 and K2 ensure that calcium is absorbed properly. If you are just taking calcium on its own, your body isn't going to be able to use it. But together, these 3 nutrients can help to boost your immune system and support muscle health, both of which are important for blood sugar and insulin control. Number 7, cottage cheese. Now, as I was saying, cheese sometimes gets a bit of a bad rep, but cottage cheese is the exception. Dare I say, it's even having a moment right now. And honestly, deservingly so. 1 cup has almost 30 grams of protein, which is just chef's kiss. Because if you've watched any of my other videos on protein, you'll know that I recommend getting a bare minimum of 30 grams in at every single meal. And I know today we're talking about snacks, but if you can get 30 grams of protein in a snack, that's a huge win. Number 6, protein shakes. Now, the reason that I recommend 30 grams of protein at every meal is because we should be getting 120 grams in throughout the day. The general rule I use with clients is 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So if you're petite, then it might be less than 120 grams, but for everyone else, it's going to be higher. With this framework, you would need at least 40 grams per meal if you were having 3 meals in a day and no snacks. If you can hit this daily goal, trust me, your cravings are going to go away, you're going to have better control of your blood sugar, and you're going to see improvements to your insulin sensitivity pretty quickly. But a lot of people, women especially, are not getting anywhere near this. And this is why it's hard to stay consistent. Now, I always recommend getting your protein in through food whenever you can. However, if you are struggling to hit this goal, then a high-quality protein powder can help. Again, as I've mentioned a few times throughout this video, you want to find one that has minimal sugar and ideally no artificial sweetener or other fillers. Really, the fewer ingredients on the label, the better. And it can be hard to find a good quality protein powder. A lot of times the ingredients list is a mile long, so I'll put some of my recommendations in the description box down below. But overall, a whey protein powder is going to be best. Avoid any that are based on soy or pea protein. Number 5, full fat milk. Now, some of you might not expect me to include milk on this list, but I throw it in here to emphasize that if you have switched to a plant-based milk for health reasons, you might be better off switching back to full cream. Milk is a great source of protein, and like cheese, it has a good balance of D3, K2, and calcium. Plant-based milks often contain added sugar and also vegetable oil, which I can't go fully into today, but you should be avoiding vegetable oil, and especially if you're insulin resistant. And there's really no scenario where you want to be drinking it. Number 4, pork rinds. If you like a snack with a little bit of a crunch, then pork rinds are for you. Again, just choose ones that aren't fried in vegetable oil. Number 2, bone broth. This is probably the best high protein snack on the list. Bone broth is so good for killing cravings. Once again, it's high in protein and high in essential nutrients. And it also has a good amount of electrolytes, which can also cause cravings if they're out of balance. So a mug of bone broth is a great snack option. And this can be either homemade or store-bought. Bone broth is really filling without being super heavy. And finally, number 1, we have eat a meal. If you are having hunger and cravings in between meals frequently, then you're better off just eating a meal instead of relying on snacks. When it comes to reversing insulin resistance, you don't want to be eating constantly throughout the day. The framework of having small, frequent meals doesn't work. You want to have time in between when you eat for your insulin levels to come back down to baseline. Because when insulin is low, this is when insulin sensitivity improves. So if you're constantly eating, and even if you're having snacks that are high in protein and high in fat, even if you're not seeing those big swings in blood sugar, your insulin is still going to be elevated every time you eat to some degree. So you're better off having bigger meals and being really diligent about getting in enough protein and high quality protein, like the meat and seafood that ButcherCrowd offers. And that's why I've partnered with them on today's video. ButcherCrowd is an Australian delivery service that offers an amazing selection of premium cuts and sustainably sourced meats and seafoods, perfect for anyone looking to prioritize quality in their protein choices. Whether you're planning your meals for the week or need quick, healthy snack options, ButcherCrowd has you covered with high-protein, nutrient-dense choices that support both your health and taste buds. You can head to healthcoachkait.com/ButcherCrowd to check them out. They deliver Australia-wide, and you can change, pause, or cancel your subscription at any time. And make sure to use code HCK15 at checkout so they know I sent you, and that's going to save you 15% off your first box. Now, before we wrap up, I have one final point I want to touch on. A lot of lists that are giving you high-protein snacks will include foods such as nuts and seeds, chia seeds and pumpkin seeds specifically, or roasted chickpeas. And these actually aren't good protein sources. Nuts and seeds, however, are a good source of fat, which I am all for. These can help to control blood sugar better and avoid blood sugar spikes. However, I know a lot of people struggle with portion sizes when it comes to nuts and seeds because they are so calorically dense. It's easy to eat a large amount of calories in a short period of time. So if you're able to have a handful of these foods and be done with it, then that's great. They can be a good option. But if not, then definitely substitute them for some of the foods we mentioned on this list. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if there is a high protein snack that you love that I somehow forgot on this list. Leave me a comment down below. And before you go, remember to check out ButcherCrowd. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.